Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Friday, February 24th. Thank goodness it's Friday. Couldn't stand much more of the bad news we've been having this week. The legislature, at least the House of Representatives, did meet today and it amended the proposed constitutional amendment that's going to make it harder to file damage suits in Arkansas if voters approve it in 2018. They were meeting strong resistance in the House, not only from Democrats but also from some pro-life Republicans who thought that setting the value of a human life at a cap of $250,000 was not very pro-life. So they've upped that amount to $500,000, both for actual damages and also for punitive damages. That brought some people over in the House. They voted to add that amendment to the proposed constitutional amendment, but not before Jimmy Gazaway of Paragould tried mightily, and he's a lawyer, to have a somewhat more reasonable tort reform proposal. He'd like to have there be caps, but make it $1 million. He'd loosen the cap on attorney's fees a little bit and allow you to recover damages from a lawyer who filed a frivolous lawsuit. He'd do something about the proposal that upends the court rulemaking procedure. He said if you want to do it like the federal government does, as some critics have said, let's follow congressional rules. Well, he got 38 votes for that, which is better than Democrats sometimes do, but it wasn't good enough. So we'll still have a pretty limiting tort reform proposal probably coming out of the House next week. Also in the House today, the House refused to approve the appropriation bill for the Capital Zoning District Commission. This is the planning commission that looks after standards of the historic neighborhoods around the Capitol and the Mansion. Some people have objected that they do too good a job, enforce regulations too hard. There seems to be some sentiment for that. They can vote for this bill again. There was going to be a vote today, we thought, on the bill to expand grocery store wine sales. Dozens, if not hundreds, of retail liquor store owners had turned out to protest this bill, but the agenda got delayed because of a lengthy debate on the tort reform measure. Filed today at the Arkansas Supreme Court were status reports that had been requested by the Supreme Court on why it was taking so long to decide the judicial discipline case against Wade NARAMORE, who was charged with negligent homicide in the hot car death of his son Thomas in 2015. He was acquitted. The judicial discipline proceeding still continues for reasons that are not entirely clear, but the filing provides more circumstantial evidence that this is likely because of a confidential proceeding that entails whether NARAMORE should be added to the state's child abuse and neglect registry because of the incident that happened. He's believed to be contesting that. The court asked for this report. The court thereby stepped into a proceeding that it would ultimately have to hear the appeal on. Very unusual procedure. Court didn't do very well for itself. It contributes to the view that the judge has somehow gotten special treatment. I don't necessarily believe that's so, but there's a strong feeling in Hot Springs to that effect. John Boozman was supposed to have a town hall meeting today in Northwest Arkansas. He canceled. He's going to have a telephone town hall, he calls it, next week. That is, if you have a computer and you can figure out how to submit your name to his website and be invited to participate, then you'll get a chance maybe to ask a pre-screen question of Mr. Boozman. He's going to be raising some money, so he'll meet some real people Monday, but they'll be the kind of people who'll write him checks, not ask him unpleasant questions. Interesting report out today in the New York Times on school vouchers. Very interesting because it was done by a conservative institution. It was paid for by the Walton Family Foundation, who love school choice and school vouchers. It's the third major report that shows that school vouchers not only don't improve the children who benefit from that money, but they may even harm their education. Public schools are still the best thing we've ever come up with to educate kids, and why we want to tear them apart, I just don't know. What else have we got today? The Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce has joined a long list of people who've opposed the bathroom bill to discriminate against transgender people, the thing that got North Carolina in trouble. I do think the bathroom debate, which might be resolved well in this legislature because there's so much opposition, obscures the fact that Arkansas has two statutes, just like North Carolina does, that preserves legal discrimination against gay people. We're a state that believes and practices, legislates, and defends in court discrimination against gay people. How that can be good for business, I don't know. Also in the legislature, the bills mount to curb the people's right to know by curbing press freedoms and by limiting the Freedom of Information Act. They're going to put Secretary of State police records off limits to the public. They're going to put Governor's Mansion security records off limits to the public. They're going to shield attorney school board conversations about lots of matters from the public. There's talk about other ways to limit FOI requests by penalizing people who make burdensome FOI requests. Imagine seeking public records as a thing. The Press Association doesn't have much clout anymore because there are not many newspapers to speak up much anymore, so it's a problem. And let's close on this press note. Today, the Trump White House banned some major mainline news organizations from a press gaggle, CNN, New York Times, and others. This is, of course, old familiar news. The Arkansas Times, Governor Mike Huckabee banned us. Cotton's public staff won't answer our questions. John Boozman's either. Bruce Westerman's staff isn't very friendly toward us. We're kind of used to that. We kind of see it as a badge of honor. What we found under the Huckabee administration is being identified by him as his enemy had his enemies rushing to give us good information. So bring on the dirt. I'm Max Brantley. Whatever you do, until Monday, resist.